Augmented reality sex, filtering real people. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and this is Sex Tech, the rise of artificial intimacy. Today's video takes us into one of the most quietly disturbing evolutions in intimacy, augmented reality sex. Unlike VR porn, where the entire experience is virtual, AR is about modifying the real. What's being sold is not simulation, but augmentation, altering what's right in front of you. And when applied to sex, this changes everything. Augmented reality sex is exactly what it sounds like. Digital overlays projected onto real-world experiences. Through AR glasses, lenses, or wearable headsets, users can modify how their partner looks, sounds, or moves in real time. Want a different face? A different body type? A celebrity's voice? A cartoonish fantasy avatar layered over your real partner? It's all becoming possible, and it's being framed as innovation. But the truth is, this isn't innovation. It's subtraction. What's being removed isn't just blemishes or preferences. What's being removed is authenticity. Let's walk through how it works. Emerging AR platforms are building systems that allow users to create custom visual overlays, face filters, body enhancements, idealized movements. These can be triggered during real-life encounters, on a date, during foreplay, or even during sex. With devices like the Apple Vision Pro or Meta's next-gen headsets, the user can choose to visually edit their partner on the spot. They still feel the real person's body, but their brain sees something entirely different. That's not enhancement, that's erasure. And that raises a terrifying question. Is it still consensual sex if your partner has no idea they're being visually altered in real time? Because here's the reality. Most people won't know. AR doesn't leave a mark. It doesn't need surgery or makeup or lighting. It quietly changes the perception of the person standing right in front of you. What they think is a vulnerable moment of real connection could be, from your perspective, a performance from a digital fantasy they never consented to become. This is not a hypothetical. Prototype apps already exist where users can swap faces, overlay skin textures, or even insert fictional features during physical intimacy. The fantasy doesn't stop at digital lovers anymore. The fantasy is now projected onto real people, blurring not only ethics, but perception itself. Let's step back. What AR sex is really doing is splitting reality into layers. There's the physical body in front of you, and then there's the visual, emotional, or psychological layer that you've customized to feel more pleasurable. But those layers are not shared. They're private, meaning that intimacy becomes asymmetrical. One person is engaged in a real moment. The other is lost in a personalized illusion. This shift from mutual presence to filtered perception creates a new kind of loneliness, one that looks like connection, but isn't. Because when your partner becomes a canvas for projection, you are no longer in love with them. You're in love with your overlay. And that's the end of true intimacy. Sex has always had elements of fantasy, but fantasy was something shared, built through roleplay, communication, mutual desire. AR changes that. It makes fantasy secret, one-sided, unspoken. And that secrecy turns real people into props, into placeholders, into base models that are no longer good enough on their own. Think about what this does to trust, to consent, to relationship dynamics. If a partner finds out they were visually altered during a moment of real vulnerability, how do they feel? Betrayed? Used? Violated? AR introduces a dynamic where truth becomes optional and real connection becomes inconvenient. But the industry is moving full speed ahead. Developers frame AR intimacy tools as empowering, as ways to enhance connection, explore desire, and personalize experience. But what they're really doing is flattening reality. They're teaching us to see our partners not as sacred beings to witness, but as surfaces to edit. And the psychology behind this is devastating. Because when we begin to believe that connection must be perfect to be pleasurable, we lose tolerance for imperfection, for texture, for complexity. The scar becomes a problem. The wrinkle becomes a distraction. The unflattering angle becomes unacceptable. AR doesn't just make sex easier. It makes humanity harder to accept. We're also seeing a rise in dissociation. Users of AR intimacy tools often report a delayed emotional response after sex. They were physically present, but emotionally distant. Why? Because their mind wasn't engaged with the person. It was engaged with the projection. Over time, this leads to identity confusion, addiction to visual control, and an inability to connect to unfiltered people. And that's the long-term danger. Unfiltered people start to feel insufficient. The real partner becomes a problem to fix. Or worse, a disappointment to replace. And that is the death of love. Because love requires witnessing. Real love, deep, grounded, transformative love, requires the ability to see someone as they are, flaws and all, and still choose them. AR intimacy doesn't allow that. It sells you an edited experience where choosing someone means editing them until they're palatable. That's not connection. That's consumption. And spiritually, it's even deeper. Because to witness someone naked, not just physically, but emotionally, is a sacred act. It's a mirror of divine vulnerability. AR turns that mirror into a screen. The moment of sacred presence becomes a moment of user preference, and the soul, unseen, unacknowledged, uninvited, is left out entirely. We're being conditioned to believe that intimacy should be as smooth as a filter, that love should come without discomfort, that arousal should be algorithmic. But that conditioning is taking something from us. Something ancient, something spiritual, something human. So let's ask ourselves honestly, if I need to edit you in order to want you, do I love you or my fantasy? Because if every flaw is corrected, every imperfection blurred, every truth overlaid, then there's nothing left but projection. And projection is not partnership. It's isolation in disguise. Augmented reality sex is not the future of connection. It's the collapse of it. It teaches us to prioritize visual control over emotional presence, to prefer fantasy over friction, to turn lovers into canvases for our unmet desires rather than partners in sacred witnessing. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future, Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems, The Behavioral Economy Now Governs Access. 4. Hive Mind, Synthetic Telepathy and Collective Algorithmic Control. 5. Nanobots Inside You, Medical, Military, and Programmable Intrusions. 6. Grief Tech, AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading Your Mind, Consciousness Transfer and Data-Based Identity. 8. Deep Fakes plus AI Clones, The Replication of Reality and Identity Theft. 9. Quantum Humans, The Merger of Biology with Quantum Systems. 10. Digital Afterlife, Where Your Data Goes When You Die. 11. Resurrection Science, Reviving Life Through Synthetic Methods. 12. Immortal Science, The End of Death as We Know It. 13. Longevity Science, Gene Editing, Anti-Aging, and Bio-Upgrades. 14. Designer Babies, Engineered Perfection Before Birth. 15. Artificial Wombs, Birth Decoupled from the Female Body. 16. 3D Printing, Printing Organs, Limbs, and even humans. 17. The Humanoid Era, The Rise of Synthetic Beings Among Us. 18. Legacy Humans, The Slow Phase-Out of Unmodified Analog People. 19. Smart Cities, Algorithmic Environments That Watch and Decide. 20. Cloud-Based Societies, Citizenship Without Borders or Bodies. 21. Hackable Humans, Emotion, Memory, and Behavior Under Code. 22. Biometric Scanning, Your Body is Your Password and Your Prison. 23. Sex Tech, Intimacy Reprogrammed by Machines. 24. Extinction of Gender, Fluidity, Deletion, and Design of Identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.